This is Worse, the old guy from www.oldguytalks.com, talking to you about his experience at UFC 229. Yes, the old guy was there, and there were lots of good fights that night. Lots of ones I remember, especially one of the ones, the most memorable one was Lewis, who was losing the fight right until the very end, where he knocked him out. It was a pretty incredible finish, and there were others, lots of great knockouts, lots of great fights. Just incredible fights. And then the main attraction was there, and the main attraction was Khabib and McGregor. And it was a good fight. I was rooting for McGregor, like a lot of people, actually the majority of people in the T-Mobile Arena were. And I was rooting for him, and he got choked out fair and square in the fourth round. And then the craziness started. And Khabib jumped out of the octagon, chased down, I think his name is Dylan something, who trains with McGregor, and got into a fight with him. And then there was all sorts of fights. Some of Khabib's people came in and sucker punched McGregor, and there was all sorts of fighting going on. And it was insane. It was actually surreal in a lot of ways. Because usually at the end of a fight, usually at the end of a championship fight, people say all sorts of stuff, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But at the end of a fight, usually people shake hands, basically embrace each other, finish, and pay their respects. And this didn't happen. It's a black eye on the sport. In many ways, it's a very, very black eye when a thing like this. It should have been Khabib's crowning up appointment. Now, Conor McGregor, like other people, Ronda Rousey, same thing. They're show people. That's why this was a record pay-per-view number of people had gone into this. It was a record number of pay-per-view people had signed up for this. And they didn't sign up because Khabib, I guarantee you, a few people would, but it was because Conor McGregor knows how to promote a show, and he does that by trash talking, and that's just part of the sport. And everyone knows that, and he said it himself. I'm going to quote Conor McGregor. He said, I will be gracious in victory and defeat at the end. And he always has been. He's always been a gentleman. At the end of the fight, whether he wins or loses, he's very gracious. But up until then, the guy is a fucking showman. Yeah. And he sells tickets, and that's why he's interesting. And anybody that fights him needs to, knows that, or most of the time they know that. But for Khabib, this was just totally, completely a loss. And it was actually very unprofessional of a fighter to do this, to go into the stands and start fighting someone. And the repercussions and the example that he set. First of all, let's talk about the example that he set. A lot of people, quote unquote, look up to these athletes because they're so great. Well, yeah, they were great in one part of their life, but obviously they're not great in other parts of their life. And one of them is self-control. Because when you are in that situation, when you are a fighter, you have to be in control of your emotions and what you're doing. And obviously he's not. And so he set a very, very poor example for lots of people. And then the consequences to him and his team are huge. I just need to say that, first of all, it can possibly affect his green card, his visa, his ability to stay in the country. It will affect definitely his title. There's a good chance that this title is going to be pulled. He's probably going to be suspended from fighting in Nevada for a long time, and maybe a lifetime suspension. Who knows? The governor had to be rushed out. He was in the VIP area, and lots of VIPs were rushed out as this thing was going on. And this thing is going to have all sorts of repercussions for Khabib. Also, you can kiss goodbye. Any endorsements that might have occurred can be kissed goodbye. That's right. You can kiss those goodbye because no one's going to want to touch them. And all for what? All for nothing. And it's really, this is just one of the things that's very, very important, to be able to control your emotions in a situation like this, to be able to understand what's going on. And for Khabib, it's going to be a black eye. And the only, I don't know if it's a bright spot. I don't think there's any bright spots. how does Conor McGregor come off being the diplomat of this thing, refusing to press charges against Khabib's team, all that stuff? I mean, it's just totally that's kind of like how this thing gets turned around on top of its head. And much kudos to Dana White, who. I watched the press conference because obviously this is the thing, and his comments about it being sad, him being sad was actually very, very interesting in terms of regard, and he outlined all the things that why this was a black eye on the sport, and I think he handled it well. I think he handled it well in the ring. I mean, you can imagine just kind of got to make all sorts of decisions, and all sorts of crazy stuff is going on, and they did everything that they could to prevent this from happening by having extra security, had meetings with the teams, all that stuff. And the fact that he did not crown him with the belt, I'll tell you, it was ugly in there, and there were fans that basically that weren't planning on going to jail, got into fights and are in jail, or got arrested or whatever. All sorts of things occurred because of that. There was just a whole ripple effect that was not that occurred. I mean, it was wild in the stands, and people were yelling at each other. McGregor fans were yelling at the Khabib's fans and all that stuff. And it was, with all the alcohol and everything else going on in that room, there was just all sorts of stuff going on. So it's a sad day. It's a sad day. I wasn't planning on talking about that or about this aspect of the fight, but it's really a life lesson. It's really a life lesson about controlling yourself and being under control of yourself, and you gotta understand what the game is. Khabib had to understand what the game is. Everyone else who's fought McGregor understands what the game is. Yeah, they do all that stuff, that posturing, but they all understand what the game is. The game is entertainment and selling tickets. And, that's just, the trash talking is just part of it. And will continue to be part of it. I think it should. It's actually kind of fun to watch it. I mean, Merriweather, hey, he understood it. They all understood it. Both sides understood it. And so it's just a sad day. This is Ors, the old guy from www.oldguytalks.com signing off, talking to you about his experience at UFC 229. He was there live in person. And, it was fun until the end. Take care, and remember, it's all about creating a kick-ass life for yourself and those that you love.